You're a good-looking dude.
Fuck these people, let's fuck each other.
Oh, you haven't seen Cuckold Cleanup? Watch this shit.
Did you come in my burrito?
Dude, if I got into a little heroin, this is me all day. Maybe he was just trying to fuck.
The topic of conversation was really creepy.
And that was hilarious. Crusted.
Oh, sorry, did we just spoil it for you?
I didn't realize that milk would cause a curdle.
Mike, quit playing with the dubstep knob.
Potential Problems Podcast.
You're listening to the Potential Problems Podcast. Fuck you, pay me. Hashtag just leave it in.
Holy shit. Potential Problems Podcast. Oh, we said it at the same time.
We're gonna suck each other's dicks.
Yes, you owe me a Coke too.
Alright.
Hey, we're here. It's a podcast festival. Holy shit, it's an exciting event. We're here with our partial third, Mike Wilson. How's it going, buddy?
Good.
Nice. I'm John Cuellar. That is
Alan Clark.
awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's an exciting event. We're all here. It's community. We love local podcasts. It's going to be awesome. Alan.
Oh, it's been a day of events, let me tell you.
Yes, that's right. We got to sit in for a couple of the podcasts. We were in the audience. We saw City on the Edge. We saw what was the other
Women,
one?
Wit, and Wine.
Women, Wit, and
Improv.
Wine. They were right before us.
Color Circuit was doing Improv Bagel downstairs.
Yes, that was pretty fun. That was a
Improv
fun
bagel?
time.
Improv Bagel.
There was a black cat down there. Did you guys see the black
came up
cat
here,
down
yeah.
there? Anybody in the audience see the black cat down there?
He came up here too.
Did he? Where is he? I have a North Korean friend who's interested. Oh, that's racist. Anyway, we're glad to see you guys. Thanks so much for coming out. It's going to be a great time. It's been a great night so far. We have some really great things planned. Have I said great enough?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to say it another time. Alan,
Yeah.
what do we have planned for tonight?
Just great things, let me tell you.
Great things,
Great
folks.
things.
We have some stories. We also have some local stories, some national stories.
We have some comics coming up.
We do have some local comics coming out.
Yes.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. And we have a special feature at the end of the night that's going to be a lot of fun. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and move forward in the show. I'm John Cuellar. That's Mike Wilson, Alan Clark. You guys are a beautiful audience. Thank you so much, everyone who's come out to support this podcast through the years, everybody who's here tonight. For the podcast festival, it's going to be a great time. Alan, we met each other about, 4 years ago?
Yeah. Actually, it was around the government shutdown time.
Yes, at Nexus, right?
Yeah. And that was actually my motivation. So I was out of work for quite some time, and got bored with my time and decided I thought some stuff was funny. So I went to an open mic at Nexus because it was New Mexico Comedy Awareness Week.
Yes,
and that's when I became aware.
That worked.
I'm woke.
It worked.
Yeah, Comedy Awareness Week ended up spawning this whole thing. So from there, that was your show you ran. We hung out. You forgot your clothes after we fucked, and then
yes,
then we did a podcast the next time. Yeah.
Actually, in all seriousness, I remember the first time that Alan and I hung out. He was like, hey, how about smoking a bowl before the podcast sometime or before the show sometime? And I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool. We didn't smoke a bowl for like a month.
Yeah.
And then finally one day we smoked a bowl before the podcast. Or I'm sorry, before the show at Nexus. And then the next weekend, we're like, hey, do you want to hang out and maybe talk some bullshit into a microphone? And that's kind of how Potential Problems started. We didn't know it was going to be a podcast. We just figured we'd just give it a dry run and go from there. And it developed into Potential Problems Podcast. And a big part of that is the local comedy scene. A big part of that is all the people that we know. I mean, my whole thing was that I know these talented local comics, and Albuquerque has a great artistic scene in many, many mediums, but stand-up comedy is the artistic medium that I'm familiar with. And I said, hey, Alan, you went to a high school where they teach you how to do production shit that you'd have to go to college for usually.
I mean, yeah, I got to substitute assignments that I didn't do in English class by making a video that, included something with an English class topic.
Yeah, like how to kidnap someone, right?
Yes, that was one of the videos that I made, yes, how to kidnap somebody.
And then with your technical knowledge and the people that I know through the fucking awesome Albuquerque comedy scene, that's how we started Potential Problems podcast. And we're like, hey, who's our first guest going to be? And it was Dan fucking Rascone.
By the way, he's never been back on the show again.
He hasn't been back on the show.
Yeah.
It's
always a little too busy.
He is a little bit too busy. He's doing the T-Mobile call center. And after we started the podcast, we made a lot of different friends. And Albuquerque comedy continued. We built a lot of bridges, and one of the people that we were very fortunate to meet is Mike Wilson. Mike Wilson, mechanical engineer.
Has anything weird happened to you this week? Because it always seems like you just bring up these
weird shit that
wild
each
stories
week.
Where it's just so casual. Like, I woke up in the hospital this last week.
Well, that happens. But I did wake up in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. I flew there. I knew I was in Kansas City. But I woke up to a security guard going, "Sir, you got to get out of here." And I'm like, "What?" I blacked out walking in. Tailgate. You can't tailgate at Arrowhead. It's heavy. people are doing coke, and it's a lot.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I should have done that. I wouldn't have blacked out maybe. But I got woke up, and she goes, "Sir, you got to go." And I was like, "Well, I didn't do anything." And she goes, "You can't get puked on and not react to it." I'm like, okie dokie.
That was like the litmus
see you guys at
test
home,
for
yeah.
if you could stay in the stadium.
And I got
or not,
home
right?
and just puke all down my side. That's not mine.
See, my hope would be that they played it on like the jumbo screen on the scoreboard too, just like in slow motion, seeing you just get vomited on and zooming in when there's
That's
no
the
reaction.
goddamn corporations. If you guys had YouTube people running those fucking cameras, you'd
would've
zoom in on me. Look at this fucking cocksucker right here.
Did your friend really get a DUI after that?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Wait, so how early
The
into
guy
the
that
game was
puked on
it?
me drove his vehicle 20 minutes later.
Well, he got all the alcohol out.
I don't think so. I don't think that's how it exactly works. I'm not a scientist or a medical thing.
Well, that's how the show came together, and Alan is in control of the cue cards tonight, so
Yeah.
he's going to go ahead and take over. Alan, what's the first shit we're going to talk about?
Well, first off, I think you need glasses because
I can't see that far.
Yeah, you can't handle the little writing on the standard line note cards.
No,
So,
it's not big enough. Oh,
I
let me
gotta
try these glasses.
By the way, that's
let me
not
see
the
that
first-
first. Let me see that
can't
first
see
card.
shit.
No. Let me see.
Those don't help, do they?
No, Greg has a better prescription than you do.
Those are like
Greg's
plus
prescription.
2 1/4 or some shit.
It's like an old woman.
All right, for all the people not enjoying this live,
Okay,
he's
you're
trying
reading.
to read with my shitty glasses.
Go for it, Alan.
All right. Well, I think it's always good to start with a little news situation.
Yeah, what news do we have to go over?
Well, there was a local Circle K clerk carried a gun with them to work one day, or probably like most days.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, it's every day.
Yeah,
This
it's
day
Circle
they got
K.
found out.
If you're
Circle K, it's
a
part of the uniform.
If you're a
Whatever
Circle
this-
K
yeah.
clerk in Albuquerque, you should probably have a gun with you, right?
At least 2.
At least 2. Yeah.
Yeah, get like one of those ankle strapped ones too.
I think
that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, I
You
think
give
that-
them a gun. Hey, I got nothing left. Bang, bang, bang. You
Yeah.
zip them up.
just be ready to go. I think I remember reading about this story. It was Eubank and Candelaria. You guys in the audience ever been to the Eubank and Candelaria Circle K? We've all been there at one point or another trying to buy prophylactics. And Alan,
No.
what happened there?
Well, I guess a dude came in trying to rob the place, and the clerk behind the counter shot said person.
Like she had a gun in her fucking pocket, right?
Yeah, it's a little pocket gun.
Yeah, and she
What's wrong
pulled it
with
out and she fucking bang, bang.
Like the
Yeah.
cricket.
that? A little
Yes.
cricket. Or like, I think it'd be cooler to have like a better concealment one, like on Django Unchained. The doctor, he has the one that comes out of his sleeve.
Yes.
Yeah, it's real
Pop
retractable.
Leo.
Little 2-shot Derringer.
That was very cool.
That was very cool.
Yeah, good.
So she shoots this robber guy at Eubank and Candelaria. This was about like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Because the update on the story was that the clerk was fired.
She was fired because Circle K
Because
policy.
you can't shoot customers.
That guy didn't buy anything.
Wait a minute, is that in the training video?
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, let's go ahead and introduce our producer for tonight is Chris, everybody. Right, Chris?
Hi, how's it going, man?
From
10 drink
10,000 drink minimum.
I want to point out something.
Yes,
so
sir.
you guys invited me on your show last Friday?
Yes. Last week.
I live in downtown area, and I went up there and I bought a soda before at the gas station next to where you guys do your show. And you guys have you have bulletproof glass, and they like have a drawer that slides out to get the money. I live fucking downtown. We don't have that shit. What's going on up there?
They don't have the infrastructure.
No, right?
It's just not there yet.
They just don't give a shit. They're like, whatever. You get shot, whatever.
You did a great job last week, by the way, on the podcast. You fit right in. You're from 10 drink minimum, and you guys did are you guys doing a show later?
I don't know if I'd call it that. We're gonna attempt something.
What time are you guys going? What time are you guys going on?
10:45 to midnight.
Okay, and what do you guys talk about on 10 drink minimum? It's
Pretty
a
much-
very fascinating show.
Pretty much the same thing.
Well, you talk about local spots,
Yeah,
hangouts, and
yeah.
like shit. And
How my neighbor stabbed her grandmother in the neck 13 times. Stuff like that.
Somebody had to get rid of her.
Positive stories, right?
Positive stories.
It's like
I
OCD. After the first one, you got to go another 12.
Yeah, right.
I put a positive spin on it. Like, there wasn't that much blood, so I know she didn't hit the main artery. So, I think we're good,
I think I rode over here in a lift.
Nice.
With a brother. Thanks. with a brother of a guy from your show. But
Okay.
That's all I got.
No.
Now,
Yeah.
are
Yes.
you
Fascinating.
That's what he told me. He goes,
Great
you going to the
story.
Podscape.
Are
Just connecting,
Are you banned from what's the one you're banned from because you puked in?
Arrowhead? No, they don't ban you. They just rate you poorly.
No,
you pay cleanup
the
fee
ride
and then-
service,
Hold on.
Uber.
That's incorrect. You have to pay like $140.
It was $165, 1.8 mile Uber.
No, Mike Wilson. What happened when you got that email?
Yeah, it was 2 images, and it was just 2 angles of the same puke, and I was like, okay, you didn't. I get it, okay.
Pay the money, or we'll do the DNA analysis.
And I woke up. I woke up, and there's 5 firemen like not letting me leave the situation.
What?
Well, after I got out of the lift, I was sitting in front of a house that wasn't mine. I'm sure she was like, "Get the fuck out!" Because my thing is, I'm always like, I don't ever puke. So I'm sure right before I puked, I was like, "Trust me, I don't fucking puke. Trust me." And then I puked in her car. She's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And then I'm sure the people that own the house that I was laying in front of called the cops or the paramedics.
See, no, a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers have security cameras in their cars for this kind of situation.
that,
I want
That'd have been
to
a better
see
MP4
this video of you puking in the back of that car.
That'd been a better MP4 than a JPEG.
Yeah,
I know that.
So back
Too
to
bad.
now that we digress.
Yes.
The clerk who shot the robber at the Circle K was
yes.
fired.
She got fired. Is she getting job offers?
She's getting job offers, and over $5,000 have been donated to her GoFundMe.
Oh,
page.
nice. That's good. That's good.
And obviously she was fired because Circle K's policy is don't carry guns. So
Yeah,
even
don't
though-
carry guns even though you work in a fucking dangerous position.
Do they have the window at this place? Like, did she have to
you
sneak her
mean
hand
like
under there and
the-
just...
Like the 8 p.m. and past window where you just
Yeah.
walk up to the outside of the place?
Right.
No, I don't think
I mean,
so.
like, but there's also like the Smith's gas station window where you just go down and under.
Like,
Oh yeah.
No.
Like there's a little
That's,
drawer.
that's how his
just
house is. Like, it's right next to his house.
oh, right.
I want
that
to
gas station.
First of all, you could steal all the sodas and whatever else
right.
outside you want because they're locked inside with bulletproof glass and it's all outside.
Yeah, but there's cameras.
Okay. We all know how the cops really come up and go, well, let's watch the camera. He
you-
sold that squirt. Yeah,
you-
that's
you
what
wear
they
a
drove
hoodie.
away
With $3 of soda. Get
with.
them.
Right.
You can
Well,
take
I-
a shelf.
I would take a whole shelf, yeah.
Yeah. Just back the car up to it.
So-
Baby driver style.
So would you would you hire this clerk, Chris, if you had a business and you interviewed this person? Would you hire this person who has shot a robber?
It depends on the business.
What if the Albuquerque Peace and Justice Center?
Oh. Let's meditate on this.
Okay.
I don't know, because like I was talking to did you hear about the kid that was in Oklahoma and the 3 kids broke into the house and they had brass knuckles and he shot them all and they're like, well,
shit, fuck yeah.
And then they're like, of course the 3 teenagers, they're like, their parents are like, well, it was murder. Like,
no,
wait a minute.
That's like somebody today. It was on some fucking news feed somewhere. This guy was robbing with I think he had a Darth Vader mask on, and this old man hit him in the back of the head with a chair, took his knife from him, stabbed him 17 times, and his mom's like, that's excessive. I mean, I don't disagree, but fuck that guy. Like, we need to put some, I don't know, some apostrophes or something in laws that are like, yeah, this guy's okay.
He's giving Darth Vader
some
a bad
parentheses.
name.
Yeah. Except when... And then just write that exact situation. And
Mike Wilson, would you hire the Circle K?
I wish she was sitting right next to me.
You'd go
I
out
can't
with her,
see
right?
very well with these lights. I would like her just a little self-defense mechanism here.
Alan, would you hire this person to work at your company?
Sure. Work the door. I mean, at least she's a good shot.
Yeah, Deadeye.
Well, the dude didn't die. He's recovering in the hospital.
Boo!
So she didn't follow the basic rule of the double tap. She did not double tap.
I think they would
Rule
probably
115.
press charges if she walked up to him and gave him the double tap.
Well, no, you don't double tap after they're already down.
No, you
it's
don't.
on the
That's
first.
very
You
bad.
go bang bang.
Bang, bang, yes.
Bang, bang.
That's what the gun sounds
Well, the
like.
double
bang,
tap is when they're already down.
Oh.
That's from Zombieland, isn't it?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
When they're down, you kick,
All right, so fuck it, double tap them.
you kick them in the dick.
Yeah,
You
go
should
It's
for it.
settled. Next story. What's the next story you have, Alan?
Well, yesterday was I believe it was yesterday. The UNM, they had the university near Mom. They had a affirmative action bake sale.
Did anybody go to the affirmative action bake sale at UNM? Alan, what was that like?
Well,
what did they do?
well, they were heckled so badly that they had to pack up and leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that seems unusual because in today's society, if you don't agree with something, it's not like you would shout them down and shut them down, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. But I think the thing people took issue with was the fact that cookies were $1.50 for Asians.
Ooh, that sounds like a deal.
They were $1 for white people.
Wait a second, what?
And then 50 cents for black or Hispanic people.
I can get behind that.
So you can guess who got the most mad.
Who did?
Well, they're charging
White people?
$1.50.
They're good at it.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
our privilege?
Yeah, they should have just gotten one of their darker
We
friends
should
to
have
buy the
been
50 cent
$4.
cookies for them, you know?
Yeah, they should have.
Yeah. So, yeah, they were shut
So what
down
happened? What happened at UNM when people showed up with this affirmative action bake sale?
Well, the leader of the affirmative action bake sale said that they took our stuff, destroyed our stuff on the table, as well as pushing things over and all the baked goods we had, squishing them and everything.
That's like the Bill Burr bit. I just want to fucking punch those muffins. Somebody did it. Actually, we should see where Bill Burr is.
Did anybody in this audience go to the affirmative action bake sale? Anybody out here? No?
Or do you wish you had?
Do you wish you had? Would you have bought from this bake sale?
Whoa, that's
I don't think you can buy those there, but
wow. Did you hear about? Have you guys heard about the?
He
new
meant hug them.
Have you heard about the new South Park game?
Oh yeah, the South Park game where it gets harder if you're
a black character, it's actually harder. Yeah.
Hold on. You guys just had a moment, didn't you?
I didn't have a moment. This guy in the hat just won the audience. Oh my God!
Go figure.
You're going to do a minute at the end of the show, actually.
Go figure. Colonel Sanders would say something like that.
Right.
I was thinking like a Colonel Sanders, Jeff Bridges, buddy.
Like, yeah, dude. Holy shit. That's what this show is about. It's about connections. It's about
Racism and non-racism
no.
and chairs and woodworking and float trips. That's some of the stuff I do.
What's the last good flow trip you went on?
I blacked out. You know what
It's a good float
happened?
trip.
They took a picture of me on the beach. They put me back in a canoe, And then at the end, the two most blacked out people were tied to a raft. We both woke up, untied ourselves, and then just started fucking like Harvard paddling in for the win.
So
people were pissed, but we were well rested, so it was a lot of fun.
All right.
Well, we like to do news stories on Potential Problems podcast. We do national news stories. We do local news stories. Albuquerque, if you guys know, if you live here in Albuquerque, there's always a lot of crazy fucking news stories going on, and we kind of do those as well as national stories. But one of the real reasons why we started this podcast is because I know all the local comics. Alan has all the technical knowledge.
Which I'm actually being relieved of tonight. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, thank you, Chris. Clap your hands for Chris, please. Yes, thank you so much.
Buy a drink for Chris, yeah.
Buy a drink for Chris. Hand job in the parking lot. And
Gibbs.
And one of the reasons why we have our whole 50 views per episode
on YouTube
on YouTube is because of the local Albuquerque comedy scene. We love the local Albuquerque comedy scene. I know all the comics. They're my good friends. I'm a big fan of a lot of them. And Alan has the technical knowledge, and that's how we came together, aside from the homosexuality.
Docking!
Yes, thank you, docking. And
that's not gay.
The thing that this whole podcast started off of was local comedy. And with that in mind, we'd like to invite some of our favorite comics to do 3 minutes during this next segment. Each of these people I'm a big fan of, and I asked them to do a set personally because I love them. And at this time, we'd like to introduce our very first comic, one of my favorite people ever. Please clap your hands, studio audience. Clap your hands for Jason Green, everybody. Yeah! Jason Green.
Jason Green.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Is it?
There you go.
Okay, you guys watch as I perform comedy for these three guys.
Got him.
There we go.
I didn't know it was going to be like this, where I would be performing for them and you guys could watch from behind.
No, ignore us. We're not here.
Please.
You're performing for those people.
I'm just getting some. I'm just, I'm saying some like nonsense words while the microphone's working. Hey, this is a weird place to be doing comedy, isn't it? It's like Frasier's dad opened a comedy club in here. Do you guys? Anybody else watch Frasier enough to get that joke? Okay. All right. I don't want to disappoint everybody, but I'm a little too. I've been too depressed to write any new jokes lately, so it's difficult. You know what I mean? Try as I might, I try to write a joke, and my actual state of mind will come through in my humor. And I just thought, well, I just need to make it. I need to keep it basic. Just get one of the old classics. So I wrote down a piece of paper. Two guys walk into a bar. I'm off to a good start, right? Bartender says, "Hey, what can I get you guys?" First guy says, "I don't know, a reason to live." Second guy says, "I don't care as long as it's enough to wash down 2 dozen oxys." So, strike one. Look, I know that's not a good joke. It's a terrible joke. It's depressing. And I was like, oh, I got to keep it even simpler. And I thought, okay, well, what do you get when you cross a dolphin and a potato? Cancer, probably. Eventually, everything, right? So, fuck, that's strike two. That's not a good joke. That's depressing. That's also I thought maybe I need to just like flip the script on this a little bit and write like a needlessly elaborate and tedious setup for some old punchline. So that's what I did, and boy, are my arms tired. So we all got to learn to get along a little bit better, right? Like even today, I saw just up here on Central. Saw these two graffiti guys having like just a vicious argument about Donald Trump, and I said, "Hey guys, spray it, don't say it." Like, you're artists. You know what I'm saying? Spray it, don't say. Okay. Anyways, I don't know. You guys, there was an ad suggesting that one of the mayors for candidacy. All right. The NSA, you guys, are we plugged in? Because I was about to start talking about politics. Got shut down for...
Check. What's going on?
I think I got shut down by the man.
Right here.
We're
all down.
We're all down.
Shit, we all lost mics.
Oh,
We all lost mics. Hey, that's my time. I've been
Ground
busy.
control.
Someone
Lose
else
mics.
up here to try this. How about it? I broke it.
Check.
We didn't lose mics. We lost the PA.
Oh, we just lost the PA. Okay.
The mics are running.
Yeah, they're still running. Like, your joke got across. Just come out here.
So what about the PA? What do we do about the PA?
What about Pennsylvania? Thank you.
You slipped one in there on the old down mic.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm known for slipping one in. I'm not known for that, actually.
Technical difficulties.
Here, I got a joke. I took a piss on the golf course today, and this cop caught me, and he goes, because I kind of have a small dick, he goes, I'm going to write you a ticket for decent exposure. Because it's not too indecent. It's just kind of small.
Check.
That definitely helps.
It does help, all right.
Yeah. You know who we should call to help fix this?
Who should we call?
FEMA. They tweeted out an emergency number for the hurricane victims last week.
Oh, was it an accurate number?
It was a very accurate number if you're looking to talk to the hottest singles in your area.
Oh, genius.
So
Yeah.
what was it, like a sex number or something?
Yeah. FEMA accidentally, because they're so busy with their labor camps and shackling people and all that kind of stuff. Because that's still, we've seen the images online.
Did they give out their Kick messaging app?
Well, almost. They accidentally tweeted out a 1-800 number instead of a 1-888 number, and that simple mistake rerouted the disaster line people to local singles.
Wait, truly?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So
That's about the second best thing you can get. If you're
I mean,
about to die.
moral support is probably the better way you can go in a hurricane disaster. I mean, because financial, things are just, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
What you really need when you're evacuating is to, talk to somebody who wants you to lick your own nipples.
Can you lick your own nipples?
I'm sure some people can. I haven't been
Chris,
at the wake
you're
recently.
under the gun. What's going on here? How dare you? I'm blaming you for everything. No, I'm not blaming you for everything. You're a nice guy. But I guess we have audio, but not PA, right?
So the comedian can just be closer.
So the comedian can
With
just
no
do an
mic?
acapella set with
Into
no
a
mic to
You
the
can hold the
crowd.
mic.
Into the mic, yeah.
You got to use a mic.
It'll be into the show, but it won't be through the PA. And because I have so much confidence in the comics
Test,
that I
test.
have asked
Oh,
to
there
do
we go.
this,
Whoa.
there we go.
Wait a minute.
That was
Weird.
magic.
Yeah, there we go. We're going to
So
go
you-
ahead and keep rolling with our next comic.
Oh.
This guy, he runs a show every Sunday at Bosey Brothers. It's one of my favorite places to sign up. Clap your hands for Tito Dameron, everybody. Tito Dameron.
Do you believe in Tito? That's all I got.
Hello. Oh, it's working.
It is
That was
working
so
now.
exciting.
Yes.
Were you
Great.
not just
Thanks,
listening?
Chris. You're awesome.
No, I was listening.
God damn it. Hi,
but I didn't know
Tito.
if it was just this microphone or everybody else's.
Hey, Tito.
It's what?
I love you.
I'm trying to do a show right now.
Yes, he is.
Get
Keep
at
going.
I mean, a loose attempt at one. It's kind of weird staging to have like very bright lights behind you because then you can't really see the performer. So I'm just gonna like slowly amble towards you. What was that? Was that like a thumbs up? This is good spotlighting because of this stuff. Cool. Thanks, Caitlin. Hey, everybody I know. Oh, audiences, local. Sure. I'll try a joke that I've been working on. I enjoy the stupidness of this joke because that's what a joke is ridiculousness. It's fun. I was walking down the street the other day because that's what you do when you can't afford your car insurance. You respect the law. And upon this street, nay, upon this sidewalk that was next to the street that I was actually walking down, I saw a bird. 2 birds. And one was on top of the other. And the bird on top was making these motions. And I was like, what? Oh my God, what is this? Am I about to see some bird sex? What's up, birds? This is exciting. This is better than like National Geographic because that's just pictures. This is real life. I was like, this is a good omen for the day. And as I kept walking and I got closer, I realized one of those birds was not moving at all. And I went, oh, shit. This changes things quite a bit. If I just met Bird Bill Cosby? Oh, God. This is too awful. I hope this is not a bird taking advantage of a potentially unconscious and or dead bird. Potential problems. And so my brain kicked in. It was like, Tita, you can't think something so horrible. Let's change it up. You have improv in your background. Let's yes and to a bright, happy place. And so oh, maybe the bird, Teresa, let's call her. Teresa got hit by a car, and her lover's just trying to like revive her. Come on, Teresa, shake that car off, honey. Come on. We put a down payment on a nest. We were gonna have a lab together. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I guess this is what it sounds like when doves cry. It's dumb. And then I realized, like, that's really emotionally traumatic. That's terrible. I hope that's not the case. I hope that bird's just raping that dead bird. Yeah. And then the bird pulled out and had a cigarette, and I was like, oh, that is what happened. Yeah, that's the one joke I have for you guys. Thank you.
Woo! Yeah! Thank you, Tito Dameron. He will be doing his podcast, his other podcast, Alba Crazy, with Angora, one of our favorite comics, shortly after this.
Amazing Angora.
Yes, it's one of my favorite podcasts because they had me on as the first guest, but also because it's fucking awesome. And our next comic, our last comic, the three that we've chosen, one of my favorite. I love him. He does New Mexico Inquisition. He's a very talented person. Every time I hear him play music, I'm like absolutely mystified. He's fucking amazing. And he's a funny guy. Please clap your hands for Danger Varos.
Yeah! Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Thank you.
For a lot of the people who are just tuning in, I want to start off with an important message, and that's this. Don't get me wrong, I'm a progressive myself, but being a progressive and voting for Tim Keller does not make you a good person. This fact was just learned the hard way by my friend Colonel Sanders in the Tim Keller pin, who just said the worst word in the English language.
Oh, come on, which one?
and without having realized that there was a very handsome African-American gentleman right behind him, and that was very sad. And he walked this guy. I don't know why he thought that the press club on podcast day was a safe space. I don't know why he thought there was only white people here. But it's pretty much all white people again, so we're good. We were talking about comedy. Was that the topic, John?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right after I got here, and then we shared a brief kiss. John shared that the topic of the day. Tell them what happened.
Well, we kissed on the mouth.
We kissed on the mouth.
Closed lips.
So he could show off in front of a girl, and I'm not sure how that worked out for him. You guys banging tonight, or?
She said she knew you, and I was like, oh, yeah, I know him, too. Look, I'll kiss him on the mouth.
He whispered that we were going to be talking about comedy, and let me tell you guys, I got into stand-up comedy because I was depressed. And 5 years into my stand-up comedy career, guys, let me tell you, I am so much more depressed than I was when I started. It's unbelievable. I got into the habit at the beginning of the summer. This is a true story. I was very suicidal and depressed. I got into the habit of taking a loaded gun and putting it into my mouth and counting down from 3 to see if I could make myself do it. And but every time I got to 1, I would I think of a joke. So I'd put the gun down and I had to write down the joke. Then put the gun back in the mouth. I was like, I better try the joke out at the next open mic. So I survived for that week. A lot of comics would hit me up and be like, hey, Danger, let's have a writing session together. Let's get together. And I'm like, I don't know if you're going to be jiving with my style. I don't know if what I do is for you. You know, it's like I take the gun and point it at them. I'm like, now you write a joke. Now I write a joke. I lost my little brother to suicide this summer. He was only 21 years old. He took his own life after he was addicted to heroin and very depressed about a girl. He wrote in his suicide note that it was all about the girl, and I felt he really sold heroin short on that. I don't think he was giving heroin due diligence. It was kind of unfair to heroin, I think. Blaming it all on a girl. You're a drug addict, dude. You know, and I remember thinking, like, you know, afterwards, I had a comedy show the night I found out he was dead, and I was sitting there, of course, because I'm a terrible piece of shit, debating whether or not I should go to this comedy show. And if I did perform, what would I say? And I kept thinking that, you know, if I was my Irish ancestors, we would probably be having an Irish wake, and we'd all be getting drunk and telling stories about him. But I don't drink anymore, so I can't do that. So I was, you know, trying to think about a way that I could still honor his memory. And so me and my friends, we got together, and we did a whole bunch of heroin together. That one's for you, buddy. At the funeral, he was a half brother, and at the funeral, our stepsister that we shared got on stage to share with the audience, and it was to give you a little background. This whole funeral was a huge evangelical fucking charade. It was awful. They were singing songs with their hands in the air, and all the lyrics were up on the big screen, like the blood of the Savior and the sacrifice of the Lamb and all that fucking shit. And she got out there and she's like, I really wanted to share a song with you guys. I wanted to sing a song for you guys tonight. It's a very close and personal song that's brought me through a lot of hard times. And I shared this song. I sent it to my brother just before he died because I wanted it to help him through these hard times. And I sent this song to him, and now I'd like to sing it to you. And I was like, so you sent this song to him right before he killed himself, and now you want to sing it to us? Can I just wait outside? I don't know if I want to hear this fucking song. I think we've seen enough tragedy.
Danger Cave Maros, everybody! Woo!
That was good, right?
Yes! Fuck yeah.
Thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Thank you so much. Again, we owe so much to our comedy community. These guys are brilliant at improvising, at stand-up comedy, at just fucking supporting everybody that we love. And Danger is one of the most fucking talented people I've ever met in my entire life. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for doing stand-up for us. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Danger. And thank you so much for... Who was the other person? Tito. Yes,
Tito!
I'm sorry.
Jesus
I only
Christ.
said it like that because I'm a little bit... it's late in the night, and I'm losing my memory.
We're drinking Tito's.
You know, on Danger's death subject, I think I might have said this to you, but I don't know if it went out on the show, but one time I left some sunglasses at my parents' place, and they called me to say, hey, we left your sunglasses in the mailbox, and this was at the time when my grandma was dying in the hospital. So, yeah, I know, right? Great stuff. Great stuff. So I go to their house and go to the mailbox and open the mail, and at that time my mom calls me and she's like, okay, just letting you know, she finally just passed away. And I was like, oh, okay, by the way, these aren't the right sunglasses. I felt like that was a total Larry David moment. It's just like where there's this bigger thing going on, but it's like, yeah, but I still need my glasses.
Can I get those glasses?
Yeah.
One of the cool things we wanted to do, because we have such a great audience and because we love each and every one of you, we wanted to do quick interviews. So we're going to interview as many people as we can in the next, how many minutes do we have?
About 20 minutes.
We have 25 minutes. And we're going to do 2 to 3 minute interviews with everybody who is willing, who is able. Anybody that wants to talk into a microphone, that's what we're doing. One of our strongest features on Potential Problems Podcast, which we broadcast every Saturday.
Live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. Also downloadable on Google Play, Podbean, and what else?
What's your YouTube channel?
iTunes, yes.
Potential Problems Network, YouTube.
Potential Problems Network, YouTube. Anyway, one of the reasons why we are successful is because we have interviews and we have fascinating people. And you guys are a fucking fascinating audience. So anyone at this point who wants to do an interview, we're going to do an interview with you, as well as as an interview with some of our favorite artists here. You guys have seen them do stand-up tonight. Some of you guys didn't see them do stand-up, and some of them have podcasts tonight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up our first 2-minute interview. 2 minutes. Ooh. Alan, do you have a 2-minute timer set?
Yeah.
Let's get a 2-minute timer set.
If you guys go over your time, you kick the fuck out.
Yes, if you go over your time, you will have to suffer a reach around.
Oh.
Can we get like a minute extension? Like, what if it's good?
Minute extension. All right. Yeah. Your first comic, your first interviewee.
Get out of MC mode.
Sorry. Who do you want to call up first?
Let's see. Let's
2 minute. Angora, everybody. Clap your hands for Angora. First 2-minute interview. You can step right to that microphone if you'd like, Angora.
First question, Ann. How the fuck have you been?
Good.
Okay, good.
Mike Wilson.
Does your boyfriend completely got rid of the blow-up dolls?
I'm not sure.
My question is, Angora, you've started Albucrazy podcast. What is the most surprising thing about podcasting that you've come across since starting your own podcast? And please also tell us about what Albucrazy is all about, because you're following us, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Albucrazy is about people in Albuquerque and their experiences with Albuquerque. And the most surprising thing I found about podcasting is that it's hard to fail.
Well, we certainly have.
We certainly have. Now,
wow.
What was your first foray into Albuquerque comedy? Tell us a little bit about that and how you got involved in Albuquerque comedy and just the whole side of that performing.
I started a show called Vagrant Variety, and I brought in Albuquerque comics, and I became more involved with the community from there.
What was the most violent confrontation you've had while you were on the stage?
Somebody once shoved me off the stage while I was wearing heels. It was a guy who we gave 3 minutes to, who had never done comedy before. He overstayed his 3 minutes. We gave him the light. I gave him a physical, like, hey. He wasn't listening. I went on the stage and touched his arm. He said no. And then I just started pulling on his arm, and then he shoved me off the stage.
Is that why you walk with a cane?
No.
Okay. It's a different reason.
Sorry,
I love you, sweetie.
Go
ahead.
I said, but was he funny?
No, he was not.
Okay.
If he was funny, I would have let him stay to 5.
You definitely would have. I remember those days. You were really drunk in them days, but you had a true perception of who should stay on stage and who shouldn't.
Exactly.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Angora.
you.
Clap your hands for Angora. She'll be up after us. Who's next?
I believe that's your pick of the litter.
Let's go ahead and go with whoever gets to the microphone next. Come up to the microphone, someone. Take charge. Dylan Ray, everybody.
Yeah!
Woo! First question for Dylan Ray.
How did the improv go downstairs?
It went okay. Yeah. Everybody that's in the improv bagel, which is one of the shows on Color Circuit.
Are there bagels there?
There are no
cream cheese for
bagels,
me.
yeah, but we definitely should have bagels.
Yes.
We figured that might draw a crowd more so, but maybe like ones with feathers, so we didn't do that.
What do you guys talk about on improv bagel?
Anything that'll lead into an improv scene. So
Cool.
yeah, kind of like if you've been to an improv show, you just get a suggestion from the audience, but instead we're just generating it by talking to each other.
There was
Pretty
some
simple.
Pokemon stuff, right?
Did we talk about Pokemon stuff?
I heard some kind of weird
No,
names.
I don't
being
think we
said.
talked about Pokemon, but
Okay, it was some kind of other weird.
I'm
All
sure.
right.
Yeah.
It's
I
all
believe that.
Pokemon to me.
Can I answer? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say to that. Can I tell you a time though? I was doing stand up at one of your shows on a Monday night.
Yes.
You asked about.
Wait, what Monday night show is there?
Oh God,
Robot Laser Kitten.
Robot Laser Kitten back alley Monday, Mike. Every Monday. Sign up is at 8:00. We start the show at 9. Come on out. This isn't a shill. Go ahead.
You just took my 2 minutes. God
Yeah,
damn
another
it.
30 seconds extension.
It's the longest plug I've ever heard. I don't know if you'll remember this, but there was a girl that was being incredibly rowdy.
Yes.
And I think it was Will Wheeler's friend.
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. Anyways, one of his many friends, and I got nobody was saying anything to her, so I got on stage and immediately just called her out, and I said, I hope that you have some sort of mental instability, because that'll justify how you've been all night. I may have used the word retarded.
Wow.
You're in a safe place on these side of the lights.
Retards would
My
be
sister's
so mad
retarded, I can
that
say
you
it.
equated her with them.
Yes.
Can you say it if your sister retarded?
I think I can say it if my sister retarded. She can't say it yet.
Barely. She's retarded.
Anyways, she
Hey.
gets pissed off. She gets really mad and gets up. And in the middle of my set, as she's leaving, she goes, "I'm not retarded. I'm just Jewish." I don't know if you remember that. She yelled that at me as she was leaving. And then do you remember this?
No.
And then you stopped her. And you were like trying to console her or something. I don't know.
Get
You
her
started
number.
touching her in places.
Yes.
And then I dragged
I
them.
remember that.
You remember? Yeah. And I dragged the microphone over to listen to your conversation. Do you remember? And then you kind of shushed me off. And then I actually hit like the tag of my joke. Yeah. And so it actually kind of helped a little bit that she yelled that. And so yeah, I mean, I think end of the story though is that you can be both Jewish and retarded.
She got that retarded wallet.
Yes, exactly.
What?
Held back with the money. Cheap. Okay.
Okay.
Okie dokie. All right, last question. Lotion or no lotion?
Lotion. I lotion a lot.
Good guy. I meant the dick, like when you're jerking off.
Oh, I know. I'm
Not a dry guy.
Who's dry
A
stroking
bunch of
it?
people, and a lot of people are jerking off in bed still, and I'm uncomfortable with both.
You pee in beds.
Well,
that's
that's blacked out. That's blacked out.
Yes. How weird is it that you'll pee in
Oh,
a bed
I'm
but won't
unconscious. I'm not
jerk
just jerking off laying there staring at the ceiling going, yeah, I'm going to come on myself.
Well, how
There's
about
a toilet 12
how
feet
about
away
this?
most of the time.
Our co-host Alan Clark, when he first met his wife, in the middle of their how long were you guys going out?
Approximately 3 weeks.
3 weeks you were going out, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, your wife,
6 weeks. Okay.
your future wife woke up to you. What were you doing?
I was dead asleep. My hips were thrusted up, and I was furiously sleep jerking.
You
had your
sleep
hand
jerking?
on?
Yeah.
Wait, you were not awake at all.
I was not awake at all.
That's
Hey,
amazing.
keep an eye out. Get a fucking
By the way,
cam.
she just said it's part of his charm.
Let's keep it rolling with
Yes!
our interviews.
That was a great
Yes.
interview.
Our next interview. Who's next up? Step up to the microphone,
Kendra.
please. Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to keep the color circuit love going.
Yes, color circuit.
Also, Mike, is it okay if ladies masturbate in bed?
It's more okay.
Okay, because that's like the only place I masturbate.
I prefer you do like the Daniel Tosh shit backwards on a toilet. But
I haven't done that in a long time.
See, everybody does it.
It's been a long time since I lived with a boyfriend, so I don't need to hide my masturbating in the
That's a good
bathroom.
Would you be offended if your boyfriend jerked off in bed next to you while you were asleep?
No.
That's cool, right?
That's
Yeah,
not,
that's totally
that no
fine.
didn't feel completely honest.
Like, it's probably not enduring.
As long as he
but-
didn't
I
like
felt
come
like it
on
was
the sheets. Like if I just did laundry, then I'd be like a little bit pissed. But if he had like a sock or some Kleenex, it's fine. It's
no,
totally
I
fine.
saw- I-
Question from Tito in the back.
Ooh.
No, I don't give a shit. I'm not a feminist.
You're
Think
not a
about whoever
feminist.
you want, as long as you're fucking me. As long as I get off, that's all that matters.
So how did you get involved in Albuquerque comedy?
Jerking off.
Do you guys remember Hannah Taylor?
Hannah Taylor. Yes, I remember her. She's
Yeah,
Ivy League hot.
anybody who has been doing comedy for at least 6 years knows Hannah Taylor. She's amazing. I moved in with her like 6.5 years ago, and
Real quick, do you think Mike Long would have Mike
Yes.
Wilson would have any chance?
I don't know if he would have a chance, but he would definitely fuck her.
Yeah, Mike Wilson.
What does that mean?
Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so I moved in with her, and we started doing Comedy Question Mark together with Sarah Mowry, Sarah Kennedy, all that stuff. And I started going to open mics back in that time, and became friends with stand-up comedians, even though I didn't start doing it for a very
and you were
long
like
time.
the stage manager for what was the
Broad
thing that,
Humor.
Yes, and you guys had a lot of great shows at the Box, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You guys were one of the first people to really put local shows together that would feature all of us comics that were still trying to get our footing. So that was really awesome.
Yeah.
You had good shows at, what was it, First and Cole or First and...
It's second and gold.
No. The old place used to have shows at...
Oh,
what
yeah.
the fuck was that guy's
First and
name?
Lead at the Orpheum.
Yeah, that was great, too.
Yeah, I stage managed 2 shows there.
That was great,
That was
too.
great. Those were good shows.
Ron Babcock, he was there, I think.
We had Will Spotted Bear.
Will Spotted Bear.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
What do you you're starting to branch out in Albuquerque comedy and beyond that, like you've done the Guild, you've done a lot of other spots. What's the thing about Albuquerque comedy that you enjoy so much? What is the main thing?
I'm like so much better than all of you.
True.
I'm just kidding. I don't believe that at all. Just John.
She doesn't even use She doesn't even use lotion.
I don't use lotion.
That's good.
I
Yeah.
lubricate myself.
Hate to put you on the spot.
That is so much better about being a female is that you can create your own lubrication. I don't have to fucking use expensive ash Aveeno.
So many
lotion.
advantages.
Like what?
That's what I use. I use Aveeno.
I figured. I could tell you're an Aveeno.
You guys are Aveeno buddies.
Free for that penis.
Little SPF in there.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Albuquerque comic?
You're only asking this because I told you once that it's a toss-up between you and Jason Green.
Yay! Kendra Jean, everybody! Give it up for Kendra Jean!
And that's the only reason I talk shit about you relentlessly is because you are the only person who can tell the same joke a million times and
I don't
still
do that.
laugh. I still laugh
Thank you.
every time.
Thank
You're
you
very
so
funny.
much. Awesome.
But Jason's better because he tells jokes that he just wrote that week.
That's true. I'll be the first to admit that. I love Jason. What's your final word? What do you want people to know? I mean, you're doing your podcast next, right?
No, we already did ours.
Oh, you guys did. You guys did the one before us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
What do
don't
you
know.
want people to know about your podcast?
Is it Color Circuit?
Yeah, watch Chuckle Fucker. That's my podcast where I interview stand-up comedians.
Sam Talent.
Is very aptly named.
Sam Talent.
Yeah, Sam Talent
That
was
was
on it.
fucking
There's
awesome.
a lot of other really great people. Joe Kelly. Oh my God, he has the most gorgeous smile. Did you guys see him smile?
Yeah, would you do him?
If I didn't have a boyfriend, maybe.
Oh, okay. Same here.
Jamie Loftus. Oh my God, she was so good. She ate wet dog food on stage. Did you guys go to that show?
It's easier than dry dog food, to be honest.
Exactly.
You would know that.
Just a thought.
It was
All right, let's keep it
incredible.
rolling.
Yay!
Kendra Jean, everybody.
Chuckle Fucker.
All right, next guest coming up. We want to have Chris. Chris, come on up. Let's do an interview. Come on, Chris.
I'm already here.
Okay.
I'm already here.
Yes,
Perfect.
nice. You don't have to move anywhere. Chris,
No.
where are you from?
I am from Clovis, New Mexico.
Yes, and you're part of 10 Drink Minimum, right?
That is correct.
What is your podcast about?
That's really, I don't know.
John's Evenings.
It's pretty much, it's like a free-for-all.
Oh, so it's about Grindr. Nice.
Grinder.
Keep
It's
going.
a lot about Grindr. It's 95% Grinder, I would say. Just 95%.
Good to know. You guys review like the local scene. You talk about breweries and all kinds of stuff.
Music,
right?
breweries, people getting stabbed in front of my house.
Oh, what? Tell us about that. What happened?
It was the neck.
My neighbor, she stabbed her 91-year-old grandmother in the neck 13 times.
Oh,
and
shit.
I came home and they wouldn't let me drive into my driveway. And so I get out and the cop's like, excuse me, sir, do you live here? And those are never words you want the cop to say. So I'm like, well, yeah. And he goes, well, we're not going to let you drive in your driveway because there's a lot of blood in your driveway and we need the CSI units to come. And I was like, oh, wow. And he goes, yeah, someone was stabbed in the neck. And my first thing was, I was like, well, that's really not that much blood for a neck stabbing. And then the cop goes, Yeah, that's true. And I was like, oh wow. he's like they didn't get the main artery. I was like, oh okay. And I was like, is she gonna live? And he's like, yeah, we think so.
13 times and you don't catch a main artery
with a steak knife.
I'm sure it was all in the same spot, so the hole was already open.
It's funny because it was a steak knife. We found the steak knife, and it was all bent. Well, I was telling my neighbor the story because I gossip.
God.
I'm a gossip. And he's like, oh, so that's why there's a knife in my trash. And so then we found the knife. And
post cops?
Post cops, yeah.
Jesus.
We did their job for them. I know I know that's weird.
That's pretty extensive work they did.
I know that's
the neighbor's
unusual.
trash.
Yeah. He's like, that's why there's a bloody knife in my trash. I was like, oh, so normally you just think that you just bypass that? You're not, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a bloody knife.
Oh, by the way.
Now, you were on our podcast last week. And
Correct,
one of the things I was telling you is that you were, it seemed like we had a natural chemistry between your interaction and our show. And I think it's because we probably do touch on a lot of the same subjects.
Hey, I don't want to know what you touch. And I don't want to. No, I'm just kidding. No,
Would you like to see?
Hey,
pull your cock out.
Maybe in the parking lot.
For the live audience.
So thank you so much, Chris, for giving us your input. Let's go ahead and move on to the next interview. Who's next to the microphone? Someone want to volunteer for it? Dan. Dan, I see her right there. Come on up to the front, Dan. Then
Caitlin,
we'll
you're
get
next.
to Caitlin.
Yo.
Dan, you
All
are
right.
a host of a radio show. That's how we know you. We know you from Holly Bird. Alan and
That too.
I have been on your show. What is the name of your show?
It's Director's Cut Radio.
Director's Cut Radio.
Yeah.
When can we hear that?
You can't. Not in Albuquerque anymore.
But where else?
We're on 35 stations across the country. We're like 93.9 KWSS in Phoenix.
And what's the website?
DirectorsCutRadio.com. I'm really crappy at updating the website, so sorry.
But you can still hear your show on the website, right?
Yeah, every so often. Yeah, we sometimes stream live. It's basically one of these little shows that we record and upload it to the web and do all that with. So that's what we're doing.
Nice. And what do you guys talk about? You guys had Bruce Campbell on recently.
Yeah, we actually got to sit down and chat with him earlier today. He's in town for a book signing, but we got Bruce Campbell.
Albuquerque?
Yeah, he's actually in Albuquerque today. So
did he get stabbed?
No,
Okay,
no, I
good.
don't think so, not yet. But yeah, we had him on today where we talked to him a little bit about making movies and whatnot. And that's kind of what the show's about. It's like I find filmmakers all across the country. People have been doing it in the industry for a very long time, and people that are doing it for their first time or whatever.
Who's the biggest prick you have ever talked to?
Jerk? Okay, he never made
prick. Prick.
The biggest asshole, and honestly, the biggest asshole person that I've ever met in Hollywood. His name is Tony Todd.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Yes,
What does he do?
absolutely. He is the guy. You might know him as Candyman, the horror guy.
What?
Yeah. I did an interview with him once back. What's that?
Didn't he pass away?
You have diabetes.
I hope so. I don't like. I'm at the point that he was such a jerk that I don't care. Yeah, Tony Todd, Candyman. That guy himself. He is such an arrogant asshole.
I think that was a good role, or what was he doing? Like,
He was promoting his movie. What the fuck was that movie? It was
Lawnmower Man.
No.
Candyman.
No.
The Rock.
Jesus. What?
Sushi Girl.
Doom.
Sushi Girl.
Yeah, it's about this crime thing that goes down around a Sushi Girl dinner. Do you know what a Sushi Girl dinner is?
No.
That's where you eat sushi off a girl.
Off a naked woman. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So that's what their movie was about.
I mean, I've never heard of this.
And the
Was
kid,
somebody trying to cut the sushi on her?
I don't know, but
You cut sushi?
But so it's like this like Tarantino style ripoff of like somebody trying to like this crap is going down all around while having a Sushi Girl dinner type of thing. But Atreyu, the kid that played Atreyu in Neverending Story, was there as well in this interview. And the entire time, he seemed like he was slightly inebriated, having some drinks here and there. And that's what it seemed like. I'm not going to say he was or was not because I don't want to like get busted for any slander or whatnot. But saying he's an asshole is a perfectly normal, real thing because to me, I thought he was a complete asshole the entire time.
How was Atreyu?
Trey was a badass.
Cool.
He was kind of going along with Tony Todd just because they were friends and they were in the same movie, but you could tell that it was just egged on by Tony himself. And the entire time, Tony was like, I'm going to throw you off a balcony. What are you saying? Who are you? Why are you here? And I'm like, I'm supposed to interview you.
And he was just a
That's
total
exhausting.
prick, huh?
It was just getting extremely frustrating. So
We're getting to the lightning round. We'd like to
Go
thank you,
for it.
Dan,
All
for
right, get it
your
out.
story. Thank you so much. Dan, what's the name of your show?
Director's Cut Radio, directorscutradio.com, all that other stuff.
Thank you so much, Dan. You're awesome. We
I'll get
have
it off
2
the
more
arc, yeah.
comics. We're done in 2 minutes. We're going to cut it down to a 1-minute interview. Our next comic is Caitlin Minton to come up to answer some questions. And then we have another guy who's not a comic, but he's going to answer some questions too. Caitlin, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Caitlin, you ever pulled a tit out on stage?
Nope.
Okay. John?
No, you go again, Mike Wilson.
All right. So, what is your best mushroom experience, and how long did it last?
The best one was at High Mountain Hideout
Ooh.
in 2015.
All right, then what's your worst one?
Here, okay? Not tonight, but my 28th birthday here.
Michigan?
Michigan, yeah. Khalil was here.
I was here for it. It was fucking awesome.
I remembered the premise of my joke, but I was looking for my punchline physically up in the air, like it would appear to me. And I just
Yeah.
kept repeating the setup line over and over.
Oh, that was one of the fucking best
Does
nights.
anyone else have a question?
Yes. What made you interested in doing comedy?
Well, when I was a kid, I'd come home and watch like specials on TV and stuff. And
Who was your favorite?
I don't know. It
Your
was just like the
inspiration.
half-hour specials on Comedy Central after school. Like when I was a kid, I thought the comedians were just talking and they were funny. I didn't realize that they wrote jokes. So I was just amazed by that skill that I thought that they acquired.
And now you've been like a comic on the road. You've done some road work. You've done some
Little bit,
local
yeah.
work. And also, you've kind of become one of, I think, Albuquerque's better writers. Like, I really dig your stuff.
Thank you.
What is the thing you, like, what's your overall description of Albuquerque comedy? Like, if you could encapsulate it in a few words, what would you say about it?
Lightning round, huh, John?
Yes.
3 words.
Circle jerk.
Nice. Caitlin Minton, everybody.
you.
Clap your hands for Caitlin Minton. Thank you so much. Our next interview is, let's see here.
You sure?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
how we
sure.
doing on time?
We got like how many more
That
minutes?
was like
do we have?
3 minutes.
You're overtime.
Oh, shit. We're over time. One more guy. Omar?
Is he in here?
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Easy.
so this has been Potential Problems
This
Podcast.
has.
Thank you, New Mexico Podscape. People stick around for the other great shows that'll be on.
It's been a lot of great time. 10 Drink Minimum is
Albucrazy.
Albucrazy.
next.
They're both next. It'll be a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun to be had. Check out Potential Problems Podcast online. You can find it on YouTube. You can also find it on Podbean, Google Play, and iTunes. I'm John Cuellar. That's Alan Clark. Mike Wilson is our sometimes third. Thank you so much. You guys are the stars. Bye-bye.
Yes.